On this day, 29 years ago, I got the call that my baby sister Willow, who was 19 years old, was killed by a drunk driver. She and her three friends had been driving home from the Nutcracker Ballet where they were celebrating the Christmas season when a man who had been at his company Christmas party and had too much to drink got behind the wheel and ran his car into theirs and killed himself, my sister, and her best friend. And the two other young people in the car with her were critically injured, and I know they still suffer today. As a result of that decision, lives were ruined and families were devastated. And there is one thing that has helped me to overcome that fateful night. Welcome to day 18 of 31 days of Christmas wonder. And that one thing is when I put my faith in Jesus Christ 14 years ago. Prior to that, I carried so much bitterness and anger and unforgiveness, not just because of that night and what happened, but because of many things in my childhood that I carried around. It's almost like I carried a backpack full of rocks, and the rocks represented all the people that had hurt me, and the weight of that was unbearable. And as a result of accepting Jesus Christ as my Savior 14 years ago, He began the process of healing my broken heart. And although this time of the year I still miss her, and I still get that sadness, and I get that longing and the yearning to be with her in the physical, to like hug her and share our lives together, I know, because I found out years later, I know that I will be together with her in heaven. You see, when she passed away, I had not talked to her for a year. I was living in New York City. She lived here on the West Coast, and my life had taken a very different turn, and I was on the run, running from the pain from my past. And unfortunately, that meant not contacting my sister. And then she died. And the regret I had, the sorrowful regret that I had, the guilt and the shame that I carried for that, for not talking to her, for not talking to my family, just compounded the guilt and the shame that I carried from my childhood. And it was, like I said, unbearable. But when I accepted Jesus Christ, when I gave my life to Jesus, He carried my burdens and He healed my heart. And He gave me the ability and the opportunity to forgive those involved in the accident, and to forgive myself for my life choices that I had held myself responsible for, that were really not mine to hold. You know, I held myself responsible for a lot of things in my childhood that happened that were not mine to carry because I was a child. I was able to forgive the people involved with the accident. I was able to forgive myself. I was able to forgive my father for some of the hurt, for all the hurt. I was able to completely forgive my father, which is a whole nother story. And I was able to forgive God because I had been angry at God for years that He didn't do anything about it, that He didn't stop the accident, that He didn't prevent it. I was able to forgive God. And as a result of that forgiveness, that burden, that backpack just dropped, and 1,000,000 pounds just lifted from my shoulders, just lifted from my shoulders. And I had a new life. And I had a new hope and a joy that I never knew was possible. And I began to experience this profound healing. In fact, I had an eating disorder for 22 years. And I never thought I could overcome it. I never thought I'd get healing for it. I went to therapy for it and always discovered the triggers and the reasons why I had an eating disorder, but never was able to overcome it until Jesus. And as a result of the power of His forgiveness, and then the ability that He gave me, and the command that He gives me, that He gives all of us as His followers to forgive others, I was set free. It was set free and healed, 100% healed from the bulimia that I had for 22 years. And that is amazing, a true miraculous healing. And I give God all the glory for that. And so although this time of the year I grieve, I still rejoice because I know I will be with her again. Because as I mentioned earlier, I discovered back in 2015 that my sister actually did give her life to Christ the week before she passed away. And when I discovered that in 2015, it's such a beautiful story. I don't have time to share today, but it was truly a gift from the Lord. And I just know that Jesus had been waiting for the perfect opportunity to speak through the perfect person to testify about Willow's salvation. And so I rejoice, and I know that I will be with her again in heaven. No more tears, no more pain, no more sorrow. We will be together in joy with our Savior, with our Father, together forever in paradise. And so I encourage you this Christmas season, if you don't know Jesus, to give your life to him. Let him carry your burdens. Let him restore and deliver and heal. Let him transform your life. He is our healer. He will redeem our pain and turn it into something purposeful. He will take our pain and turn it into powerful purpose. I pray that you will give Jesus an opportunity to show you his power and his will for your life.